So, Anatomy of a Fall is a movie written and directed by Justine Triet, starring Sandra Hüller, Swan Arlaud, and Milo Machado Guerner. Going into this movie, I thought the same thing as I did with Killers of the Flower Moon, where I didn't want to see any trailers and I wanted to go in blind. So this movie is a crime mystery drama centered around the mother who is suspected of killing her husband, and the only witness to the incident is her blind son. Starting off at first with this movie, I had a negative reaction to it because it starts off very slow. It's a very slow-paced film, and a lot of modern, more artistic movies take that approach where they're very slow in the speeches, or their speech when they talk to each other, when the characters talk to each other, are more natural but also very slow-paced. At first, this rubbed me the wrong way, and I had to think about it. Is this the movie's fault, or is this my fault? Is this my attention span, or is this the movie being drastically slow and just unbearably boring? And I came to the conclusion that it was my fault, because the longer this film went on with this slow pace, I began to notice something. Whenever there was a scene where the pacing would change for a split second, or the camera work would become more dynamic, I found my attention zeroing in on those moments. And that's when I remembered one of the most valuable lessons when it comes to art or life in general, is that too much of something is never good. I feel like in this day and age, a lot of people are very stimulated by media, YouTube, TikTok, anything like that, and we're constantly trying to find something to entertain ourselves, but not just entertain ourselves, but try to do it in the quickest way possible. That's why there's even YouTube Shorts now, where you can just scroll and scroll and scroll, and your attention can focus for 5 seconds and switch, 5 seconds and switch, or 15 seconds and switch. And watching this film, it kind of made me realize how broken my attention span was, because it's not like the film wasn't doing anything interesting. I mean, it was kind of slow, but that isn't the story or the director or the scriptwriter's fault. That's more my fault for not keeping my attention span in check. One benefit of doing a movie like that is that when you have less of something, it always makes it more valuable. That's why resources, anything that there's less of, it always makes it more valuable. So if you apply this to art, whenever there's less of something, it makes it more impactful in the scene. So by having these slower scenes and more natural interactions, whenever the story would start to pick up just a little bit, or the camera work would get more dynamic, it would stand out, and I felt that it was a lot more effective that way, which I really appreciated. So the longer the movie went on, I actually started to appreciate those mundane moments a lot more, because I knew they were just as important. If the director were to try and keep my attention span the whole time and be very snappy, then it would lessen the effect of these specific moments. Because not every movie needs to be an Edgar Wright, whip pan left and right, and quick shots where you're zooming in. Not every movie has to be like that. And this movie took advantage of it. And that's one thing I really liked about it, was that it was able to take advantage in a way that I felt. And it really did affect me, because when there are moments in the court, or moments where the kids are, or where the kid is talking to his mom, and it's a lot more important than the scenes before, or a lot more revealing or emotionally impactful, those scenes were very effective. It even applied this to the film's score. There's not a music score through the whole movie, and it's very rare that there is music playing. So whenever there is moments where you hear piano and things like that, it stands out from the rest of the film because it doesn't have it through the whole thing. It makes it more special. And so although that is one thing that I think the film did very well, I think for a casual moviegoer, even if you were made aware of the purpose of that type of direction, I'm not sure that it would have an effect, because if you were going to spend your $15 at a theater and you were looking to be entertained with action or very intense plots, I'm not sure this movie would be for you, because it takes a very natural approach to all the crime and also the drama unfolding within the family. So if you are interested in how a crime or the legal side of a crime like that works in the real world, I'd highly recommend this movie, because it takes a very realistic approach, but not in a fashion that will bore you. Whenever those scenes do start to reveal the type of relationship that the mother had with her husband in the past, they're very intriguing and so well acted that you feel like you're in the room with them, or that these are real people. You really forget that you're watching actors on a screen, because they make it seem so natural and realistic that it's just props to them for doing so well. Speaking of performances, Milo Machado hit it out the freaking ballpark. He put on one of the best performances that I've ever seen from a kid his age. When he showed himself grieving as a child, or even showed himself being happy and like shedding tears of joy, it was so moving because of how well he did. He acted better than most of the adults in the film, if I'm being honest. Not saying that they didn't act well, because everyone did their part, but he stood out amongst professionals. He deserves an Oscar almost for his performance and how subtle but yet professional and just realistic it was. And so with that, I'd have to give this movie a 7.5 out of 10 if I had to rate it. It was a great movie. I really did enjoy it. I enjoyed every performance. Everything was very natural, so realistic, and just very captivating. And I'd recommend to go see it if you can. So that is my review of Anatomy of a Fall, and thank you for watching.